Do you want to improve your learning retention? Wondering how to make those study sessions more effective? We've all been there, trying to cram in loads of information only to forget most of it. But what if I told you there are ways to make your brain absorb and retain more from those study sessions? Sounds exciting, right? It's all about understanding how our brains work and using the right techniques. Stay tuned as we unravel the top 10 study habits that can help you retain more information. First up on our list is spaced repetition. Now, this is a powerful technique that leverages our brain's natural adaptive abilities to enhance learning and memory retention. You see, spaced repetition is all about breaking down your study material and reviewing it at increasing intervals. Here's a simple example. Let's say you're learning French. On day 1, you learn the word pomme, which means apple. Instead of repeating it 10 times in a row, you revisit it later in the day, then the next day, then in 3 days, then in a week, and so on. This gradual increase in intervals helps to cement the information in your long-term memory, making it easier to recall when you need it. But here's the catch. Spaced repetition is not a one-off magic trick. It requires dedication and a consistent study schedule. But trust us, the results are well worth it. Remember, consistency is key when it comes to spaced repetition. Next we have interleaving. Picture this. You're studying for a big test, and you've got several topics to cover. Instead of tackling one topic for hours on end, try interleaving, a technique where you mix up different topics in one study session. Let's say you're studying math, physics, and history. Rather than spending 3 hours on each separately, you would study each for 1 hour and rotate. This technique can be beneficial as it keeps your brain active and engaged. It prevents you from getting too comfortable with a single topic, which can lead to mindless repetition rather than active learning. Think of it as a workout for your brain. Just like how you wouldn't spend your entire gym session on a single exercise, don't spend your entire study session on a single topic. Keep your brain on its toes, and it will thank you come test day. So, don't shy away from mixing up your study topics. Moving on to mnemonic devices. Now, what are these? Well, mnemonic devices are techniques that help us remember information. They work by creating associations between easy-to-remember constructs and lists of data. Think of it this way. Have you ever used a catchy tune or rhyme to remember something? That's a mnemonic device. It's like turning memory into a fun game. For example, let's take the order of planets in our solar system. A common mnemonic device for this is the phrase, "My very eager mother just served us nachos." Each of the first letters stands for a planet. Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. Mnemonic devices are highly personalized. The more meaning and connection you can create, the more effective they will be. So don't be afraid to get a bit silly or creative. The wackier, the better. Get creative with your mnemonic devices for better results. Let's delve into self-testing. Now, this is a technique that is often overlooked, but it's a real powerhouse when it comes to boosting your learning retention. Think of it as a reality check for your brain, a way to measure how well you've grasped the material. Self-testing doesn't have to be daunting. You don't need to create a full-blown exam for yourself. It could be as simple as creating flashcards with questions on one side and answers on the other. Or you could summarize a chapter you've just read and then, without looking at your notes, write down everything you remember. The beauty of self-testing is that it helps highlight areas where you might be struggling, allowing you to focus your study efforts more effectively. It's like giving your brain a mini workout, strengthening those memory muscles. So next time you're studying, try incorporating some self-tests into your routine. Don't underestimate the power of a good self-test. Now, let's talk about elaborative interrogation. This intriguing name simply refers to the practice of asking deep, probing questions about the material you're studying. It's not about rote memorization or skimming through pages, but rather understanding the why and how. Consider it as a friendly chat with the information at hand. Say you're studying the solar system. Instead of just noting down that the Earth orbits the Sun, ask yourself why. Why does the Earth orbit the Sun and not the other way around? What factors contribute to this celestial dance? The answers to these questions will lead you to a deeper understanding of gravity and mass, two key concepts in physics. The beauty of elaborative interrogation lies in its power to reveal the underlying principles and connections between pieces of information. It's like pulling back the curtain of knowledge to see the intricate mechanics behind it. So, the next time you're studying, don't just accept the facts. Ask yourself why and how it really does help. Up next is the Feynman Technique. This method, named after the Nobel Prize-winning physicist Richard Feynman, is a powerful tool for deepening your understanding of complex topics. The Feynman Technique is based on the premise that teaching is the best way to learn. Here's how it works. First, choose a concept you want to understand better. Then, teach this concept to someone else, or even to yourself, as if you were explaining it to a child. Use simple language and avoid jargon. If you stumble or find yourself unable to explain a part of the concept, it's a clear sign that you need to revisit it. Let's say you're studying the theory of relativity. You'd start by explaining it in the simplest terms possible, like how time can seem to slow down when you're moving really fast. Remember, the Feynman technique isn't just about regurgitation, it's about understanding. If you can teach it, you know it. Let's explore mind mapping. This technique is like a superpower for those of us who learn best through visual cues. It's all about creating a graphical representation of a topic, allowing you to see the big picture and the smaller details all at once. Imagine you're studying the solar system. Instead of writing a list or paragraphs about each planet, you begin with a circle in the middle of your page labeled Solar System. From there, you draw branches to each planet, and from each planet, you branch out further to list their individual characteristics. Mind mapping is a dynamic way to organize and visualize information, helping you make connections between concepts that you might not have noticed with traditional note-taking. It's not just about studying, it's about understanding and remembering. And the best part, there's no right or wrong way to create a mind map. It's all about what works best for you. So go ahead, unleash your creativity with mind maps. Next, we'll discuss the Pomodoro Technique. Imagine a tomato-shaped kitchen timer. That's where the Pomodoro Technique gets its name. Pomodoro in Italian means tomato. This technique is a time management tool that can help increase your productivity and focus when studying. Here's how it works. You break your work into 25-minute intervals, each known as a Pomodoro. These sessions are separated by 5-minute breaks. After every fourth Pomodoro, you take a longer break, perhaps 15 to 30 minutes. Let's consider a practical example. You're studying for an exam and have several topics to cover. Instead of cramming for hours without any breaks, you set your timer for 25 minutes. During this time, you focus on one topic. When the timer rings, it's time for a 5-minute break. Stand up, stretch, or even grab a snack. After 4 Pomodoros, give yourself a longer break. This technique helps maintain focus and reduces fatigue. Remember, work smart, not hard. Finally, don't forget about sleep and a healthy diet. Now let's talk about the two most underrated yet crucial pillars of effective learning: sleep and a healthy diet. Good sleep isn't just about waking up fresh, it's a golden period when your brain consolidates and processes information. So if you're pulling all-nighters, you're essentially denying your brain the opportunity to cement what you've learned. And what about diet? Well, our brain is a powerhouse in need of quality fuel. Consuming a balanced diet rich in fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and lean proteins can help your brain function optimally. Foods like blueberries, turmeric, broccoli, pumpkin seeds, dark chocolate, and nuts are known to boost brain health. So, next time you plan a study session, ensure to include ample sleep and a nutritious diet in your plan. Remember, it's not just about how much you study, but how well your brain can retain and recall information. Your brain needs rest and fuel to function at its best. So, those were the top 10 study habits to improve your learning retention. Let's quickly recap what we've covered. First, we explored the power of spaced repetition, a technique where information is reviewed at increasing intervals to solidify it in long-term memory. Then, we looked at the benefits of mixing up your study content, helping to keep your brain active and engaged. We also delved into mnemonic devices, those nifty little tools that transform complex information into memorable chunks. We then discussed self-testing, a powerful tool for enhancing recall and identifying gaps in your understanding. Next, we spoke about the effective strategy of elaborative interrogation, which involves asking yourself why and how things work. This was followed by the Feynman Technique, a method that simplifies complex concepts by explaining them in simple terms. as if you were teaching someone else. We then explored the creative technique of mind mapping, which visually organizes information to help you understand and remember details better. After that, we discussed the Pomodoro Technique, a time management method that breaks your study time into manageable chunks with regular breaks. And lastly, we emphasized the importance of sleep and a healthy diet, because your brain needs proper rest and nutrients to function optimally. Remember, everyone learns differently. Try out these techniques and find out what works best for you. Happy studying.
Thank you for watching. In a world where time is precious, we appreciate the moments you've spent here and hope you have taken away something useful. Every moment spent learning illuminates our path forward and helps us complete those extra miles. We venture into the unknown, gaining new insights as we go. Each video on this channel is another chapter for you to explore. There are always new discoveries to be made. Let curiosity be your guide. Until next time, keep seeking, keep questioning, keep learning. Wishing you peace, love, and happiness. Now hit subscribe and like. Thank you.